I had these figurines called the Tactics, and they were Star Wars like figurines, and they had like it was a figurine on a base, and they had a little wheel under the base of it, and the wheel ticked, like you pushed it forward and it ticked rhythmically. And the way that it worked, I forget exactly how it worked, but it was like every piece had like a gun on it with like a plastic projectile, the spring loaded plastic projectile. And the way it worked is you had your guys and they had their guys. And I think you like rolled the dice or something and you could move your guy forward this many ticks on the wheel. And then you could shoot the projectile. You try and knock over the other guys, the other players, you know, their other pieces. And I remember one time I went to my neighbor's house. This guy, he was a total goof, total retard. Anyway, I don't know who's watching this show, so you know, if one of my neighbors is watching the show, it's not this one. It was this kid from like down the street, and I don't think he's watching the show. He was like, I don't know. Anyway, we were doing these tactics, and I made a bet. I was like, look, if I win, I get all your guys. Something to that effect. I was like, we're going to compete, and I'm going to get all your pieces. And I won, and I was like ready to take him home. And then his dad was like, no, you're not taking all these guys. It needs to be fair. I'm like, what the fuck? It was fair. I won fair and square. Now they're mine, you know? But he wouldn't let me take them. I don't know. Did that? I have like a vague memory of something like that happen. I don't know if the dad intervened, but it was something like that where I won fair and square. I got the pieces, and I'm like 99% sure the dad was like, "Oh no, you don't." And it's like you're an idiot, dude. You're an idiot. I won. They're mine now. Anyway, anybody else have the attack ticks? I had a ton of them. I had this cool one. It was like a clone gunship, and it had a string attached to the base, and it detached from the base on this string, and you could move it forward and shoot the guys with it. Sniffer says Beyblade or Yu-Gi-Oh? Definitely Yu-Gi-Oh. I never had any Beyblade. What even was Beyblade? Was that like... Were those like spinning tops? Or am I thinking of Bakugan? No, Beyblade was... Yeah, Beyblade was the tops. You rip it, right? I never had a Beyblade. I didn't like that. I didn't like Bakugan. Everyone in my grade school went through a Bakugan phase for like a year, and they were like trading them, and like... I never got into it. I thought it was stupid. But Beyblade never took off in my school. The big things in my school is sports. Great. That was really great for my cognitive development, was the sports thing. And then it was WWE, and tech decks were somewhat popular, somewhat like the skater types. Those were kind of like the hot toys. Webkins, Club Penguin, that's not really a toy, but those were like the trends, the fads. Silly bands, that was a big one. I'm trying to think in terms of collectibles. We had the microaggression. What was it called? Sometimes I say that and I forget that microaggression now means something totally different. But there used to be a line of WWE action figures called Microaggression, and they were called Microaggression because they were very small. You know, they're wrestlers, so they're aggressive. So we used to collect these Microaggression action figures. They came in a pack of 3, and they came with a foreign object. They came with like a sledgehammer or a trash can or a steel chair, a ladder, a table, or a TV. Or, whatever. So we used to collect. That was my favorite. That was my favorite phase, was the microaggression. Those things were awesome. Very satisfying to my autism. Because you could collect them all. You get them in different outfits. You get all these items. You get a ring. You could store them in the ring. And then I had the Elimination Chamber. I had the WWE Raw setup. I had the Hell in a Cell. I got to get those out of the attic and play with them. But... yeah, so we collected those, but never the Beyblade. I had Yu-Gi-Oh cards, though. I did have Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I never knew how to play. I was too young when I started to get them. I just like to look at them, but yeah, because it's too complicated. When you're a kid, I know how to play like Go Fish. I know how to play War. But, when we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I would just look at the number on top, and that was like, we just play like War. But, yeah, I never had. I always wanted one of those things where you put it on your arm and you pull out the card like this with your index and middle finger. Man, that was good times. That was good stuff. I watched the show kind of off and on. It would come on like ABC Family on the weekend, so I wasn't like invested in it, but I turn it on, and I had some of the cards, but didn't know how to play. Didn't have the thing. So anyway, so I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh guy, not a Beyblade guy. Anyway. It was so Kino. They would do that, and then they'd flip the card over, right? They would take the card out, and then they'd flip it over. You know, that you've just activated my trap card. I know that's like a meme now, but Pot of Greed and there were a few like famous ones that were kind of recurring. I forget them all now, but anyway. I never understood the show either. What was the deal with the show where there was like Yugi that was a kid, and then there was Yu-Gi-Oh that was like a grown man but the same, and in like the Shadow Realm? What the hell was that? I never understood the lore where like in one dimension Yu-Gi-Oh, is that even his name? Is his name Yu-Gi-Oh? The main guy, he was like a kid, and then when he was battling he was like an adult. What the fuck is that? Is that the same person? Is that like a... I never understood the lore behind that. I just always assumed that he was like a kid, and then when he got in the duel, he became like, I don't know, like an idealized version of himself, like older or something. I thought, is his name Yu-Gi-Oh? I have no idea. Anyway, so party means something completely retarded, but when I was a kid, a pool party just meant having a, lighthearted party at a public pool. So I had two really epic birthday parties at the pool in 6th grade and then in 7th grade. And in 6th grade, it was awesome because it was a send-off. That was my last year in that grade school. It was K through 6, and then the middle school was 7 through 8, and then high school, obviously. So my 6th grade pool party came at the tail end of my birthday's in August, obviously. So that came at the tail end of everybody's academic career at the grade school. So it was like this big blowout. It was like the send-off for the grade. My birthday party was like the send-off for the grade. I have a twin sister, so I, of course, invited all the cool guys. She invited all the cool girls, and it was like this big party. So that I'll never forget that birthday party. That was a good one. And then in 7th grade, it was like, wow, we're all in middle school. So now it's like a welcome. It was like the welcoming birthday party. Wow, we've met new people and some old favorites. And it was a big party both years. So those are probably my favorites. Yeah, my mom, she's pretty great like that. She would always make an effort to make a really great birthday party. But in typical Italian fashion, the best part of the birthday party is after everybody left and after we got home, she'd be there with the notebook, writing down writing down all the attendees and what they gave me for my birthday, so that when it was their birthday, she would then know what to give those kids in return. So I remember like one year, I don't even know if I should say it because it's way too specific, and this person might be watching the show. I want to say it because it's so good, it's so classic, but one year, I'm not going to say what it was because it would be maybe too obvious, but one year somebody gave me a pretty lackluster, lame gift, and my mom's like, oh, they gave you that? Really? They gave you that? She's writing down in the notebook. And I guess that's an Italian thing. That's how my mom plays. She would keep track not only of what people gave me, but even also like who is wishing who a happy birthday, who wished me a happy birthday, who wished her a happy birthday, and that would all go in the book. And it was a formal process. We would take the presents, and if we didn't open them in front of the attendees, we'd open them at home, of course. And it was like a machine. I open it. Okay, who sent that, and what did they give you? Write it down. So, and you know what? And I think that's a great system. I think that's exactly how it should be. What's wrong with that? It's fair. It's reciprocal. So, the propertarians will like that one. Not obviously because there's nothing involved with peeing your pants, but because it's reciprocity. So, Anyway, you'd be surprised. My grandmother always used to tell me when I was a kid, she used to tell me, if you can count your friends on more than one hand, you should count again. Which is kind of like an intense thing to say to a young person, to a child. She used to tell me this when I was in like grade school. If you can count your friends on more than one hand, you better count again. I guess that's not too intense. It's actually really good advice. But in other words, you can't trust that many people. Not many people are your real friends. And I feel like the same goes for people that are not simps. If you could count the amount of people you know that are not simps on more than one hand, you should count again. Because I can tell you that a lot of people that surround me and a lot of people I know and a lot of people I see online who are the first ones out there to say no e-girls and patrolling thoughts and all this, and you would be surprised. You would be surprised how they come full circle. Many such cases. And it's never happened with me. You know I'll never simp. And I know some people that will never simp, but they're very few and far between. It's a rare trait. Men cannot control themselves. I don't know if this has been forever or if this is just a modern phenomenon, but don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. If you're a simp, fine. But don't lie to me. Don't tell me. Don't try to impress me. I see this all the time. People trying to posture and trying to impress me. No, look, see, Nick, I'm not a simp. I'm not, an e-girl orbiter. Okay, well, let's see the Snapchat. Show me the Snapchat. Let's see the snap streak. Oh, what are you doing on your phone there? Why are you making the funny faces? Let's see. What's going on with that? Let's take a look. So, I've been simp-pilled before I was red-pilled on anything else. When I was in high school, my best friend was a simp. My best friend. In many ways, he was an adversary, but he was also my best friend. Freshman, sophomore year of high school, and we hung out all the time. We were neighbors. We never even knew we were neighbors. He lived a block away from me my whole life, and I never knew because he was in Catholic school and I was in public school. But we met in high school, and we were in Model UN together, and we were some of the best kids on the team, and he was bright and, funny guy, good guy. And we became fast friends, and we hung out all the time. We were at each other's houses and really had a close and fruitful friendship. And then what happened is, sophomore year at the turnaround dance, he got asked to go to the dance by this girl who I never cared for, who I never liked. I never even thought she was that pretty. She wasn't gross. She was okay. She had big boobs, if you want to know the truth, and that was nice. But she had man hands, and her face wasn't even that great. Anyway, this is not important. She was kind of stocky, too. She was like one of these women who has like a really, solid build. I'm not into that. I'm not into a solid build. If you got a little bit extra, but I really kind of prefer, and I don't want to get too much into that, but she was, she had one feature going for her, and I'm not, anyway. So this girl asked him to the turnaround dance, and from then on, he was smitten. And all of a sudden, and we had a little friend group, but we were probably the best friends in there. Well, maybe. I don't know if that was true. That's how I felt. But, suddenly, he didn't want to hang out with us, didn't want to hang out. He was nowhere to be found, MIA. We didn't see him for the rest of the high school, really. Never really hung out with us. And even when he did, he was always texting her, and he was also always flexing his girlfriend. We would, beat him in Monopoly, and he would be like, oh, well, I have a girlfriend. It's like, go, congratulations. He's like, oh, well, I have sex with my girlfriend. Oh, congratulations, what do you want us to say? This guy, do you really need that? It's like you got your ass kicked in Monopoly, now you're going to flex because, you, have sex with your girlfriend? Yeah, congratulations, right? Anyway, but that is just a stupid thing that would, dumb detail. And she never liked me, and she didn't like me because I was conservative, and she was always undermining me, and, this is somebody who now won't even talk to me, blocked me on everything because liberal girlfriend doesn't like me. And that's the first simp. I'm damaged because of it. When people ask me, years into the future, people ask me, why do you hate simps so much? And you'll have one of these flashback moments. What do you have against them? who hurt you, you know, and it'll flash back. Nick in high school, best friend, turns into a simp. No time for his friends. And a lot of cases like that, and a lot of cases where it's the same thing. So, this. Well, thanks for the Ninjagini. I don't know what you mean. I've had crawfish before. I went to this place in LA one time, and I did hate it. And frankly, full disclosure, I did hate it. I went to this restaurant. It was like this yuppie restaurant. This was years ago. I went on vacation to LA with my family, maybe when I was in middle school. And we went to this restaurant. And the way it worked is the whole table was covered in like a sheet. And you were given this big bib. And they just put a big pile of crawfish and like other seafood. And you basically just rip it apart. And it's just this big, disgusting mess. And I forget everything about it because this must have been like 10 years ago. But yeah, it was so messy and shells everywhere, and I forget whatever it was. I forget why it was messy. I think it was like barbecue sauce or there's some kind of sauce on there. I kind of forget the setup, but I just remember it being very messy. So yeah, you guessed right. I would hate that. I hate mess. I go out of my way to not eat things if they're messy, even if I like them. You know, things like spaghetti. I will never eat spaghetti again because it is too messy. I do not want to get gravy on my face. I will not eat spaghetti. And I'm serious about that. And I try not to eat ribs. I don't like to eat ribs. I don't eat wings. It stresses me out. We go and get wings, and I'm like, I'll get the boneless wings, and I'll eat them like they're chicken tenders. But I'm not, these wings are like, they're just covered. They're soaking wet. And in order to get the meat out, you have to like get your face in it. This is horrible. This is so unpleasant. You're in there, and then you feel like an idiot. You finish your wings, and this is what you look like. Can I get a napkin? You gotta hold your hands up like this. You can't touch anything. I hate that. I hate this feeling of helplessness. I want to eat and touch my phone and do other things, And you get done with your wings, and this is you, helpless, helpless, controlled, messy, sloppy, totally at the mercy of the napkin dispenser. What if there's no napkins? What do you do then? Can I get a napkin? Can you pass the napkins? You just get finished eating, and this is what you look like. You might as well have your pants around your ankles, right? Gotta wipe. Then you're working through 15 napkins, and you're wiping. It's on your fingernails. There's always a part you didn't get between your fingers, right? And you're checking, did I get it off my face? This is just too stressful. This is not an enjoyable eating experience. I mean, I love the taste of, bone-in wings as much as anybody else, but not at that. Not if I have to go through that. No, not if we have to go through all that ordeal. And the same is true with burgers. I will not get a double cheeseburger because it's too messy.